Hey, you're back.
Yeah, I saw you did a show with a Vikings fan by yourself.
Yeah.
But you couldn't replace good old Tom Grossi, could you?
It was hot. It was so hot cheating on you with the Vikings fan.
Yeah.
It's like finally I got a little flavor of something different,
Yeah, no, that's
a little gold and purple.
Yeah.
A little horn, a little.
Oh, you said corn.
No, horn of plenty.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. How many rings though?
How many rings?
Yeah.
Well, what kind of ring you talking about? Oh, they do have 0.
Yeah, 0.
Today's free agency tampering, huh, Tom? Got a lot to talk about.
We're going to tamper so hard.
Oh, there's a lot happening. Let's get into it.
Tamper.
Let's get into it.
Are we going to do the intro? Man, did that intro just skip like hell for you, or is it just was it just my internet?
It could be both our internet. Let me look.
Nice. Oh, baby. We here.
We?
You in the right direction. Welcome to another edition of the Grossi Perna Show. I'm Tom Grossi. That's Brandon Perna. And this is GPS. We are so back. Oh, we've never been more back.
It is tampering window.
Yes, the window is tampered with. I obviously missed a decent amount while being on vacation, and I really thought that I was going to make it. I thought I was going to make it before Crosby got moved. I was feeling pretty good. And then I saw late Friday night that he got traded to the Baltimore Ravens, which honestly, like, there's so much to talk about, but that is a crazy trade. Like, I didn't think of the Ravens at all when it came to potentially getting Maxx Crosby, just because this is the first time in their franchise's history that they've traded not just 2, but 1 first-round pick for a player. So there's a lot of craziness is going on. And now, of course, we have Tua released this morning. Rashan Gary. I'm in Hawaii, and I really, really was like off my phone for a good chunk of it. Like, I was just like, gotta stay away, leaving it in the room. And I see that Rashan, because I follow Rashan Gary on Instagram, and I see he posts this big, long farewell. Thank you so much, Green Bay, the city that drafted me, the people ready for the next chapter. And then it gets deleted. He goes, never mind, I was hacked, which has to be that. I don't know any hackers that put together a beautiful graphic thanking the team and thanking the city and the fans. But turns out he's getting traded. So we just traded him to the Dallas Cowboys in exchange for a 2027 4th-round pick. So thank you very much, Dallas. I got a text from Scooter just a few minutes ago going, is Rashan Gary good? So we were going to cut him. So I'm just so glad that we were able to get anything, excluding a 4th-round pick. So we found out who the hacker was.
It was Jared Jones.
It was Jared Jones.
Yeah, I got into old Rashawn's Insta and I said, hey, you're getting the fuck out of Green Bay, Rashan.
It's a little early.
And then I'm going to give up a draft pick for you when I don't have to. Huh.
Yep, because that man was going to get released. When we drafted Rashan Gary, I had my doubts. But listen, he put together some really good seasons, super athletic guy. But last year, after having a really good start, he had 7.5 sacks, which was the total that he had from the year prior. He just fell off a cliff, man. And I know a lot of folks will also look at like the effort and jogging, and I think a change of scenery is good. But my biggest shock was that, one, we got a 4th round pick, but 2, they're taking on Rashan Gary's contract, because the reason that he was going to be a cap casualty is because like that contract was pretty loaded, because we gave him a good old extension like we did Nick Perry back in the day. So yeah, thank you, Cowboys. I guess now we're even for Micah Parsons. So thank you.
Yeah. It is an interesting decision to try and replace some of Micah's production with Rashan Gary, of course.
But hey, Kenny Clark, Rashan Gary, back
together. Maybe that's the missing link for Gary.
But there's also there's rumors that are swirling that the Cowboys are in contention for who, by the way, the Cowboys were in contention for Maxx Crosby. We'll talk about that whole Maxx Crosby deal. But Trey Hendrickson, there's some rumors that are swirling around that maybe he's linked to the Cowboys.
There's also some rumors that the reason they pulled the trigger for Gary is because looking at Trey Hendrickson's market, they don't want to pay that. So I think we got to wait before we fully judge the Cowboys, because if they sign Trey Hendrickson, so you have Hendrickson, you have Gary, then you're like, okay, that's an all right plan going into the season. If their answer to not spending money on Trey is Rashan Gary, then we're going to have some more questions. Obviously, there's options coming up in the draft of there's going to be good edge rushers. They pick at 12. They might be able to get a guy there, but it feels very, very Cowboys-esque. Like they're just going to they were thinking about doing the right thing, just like they were thinking about extending Micah, but they didn't.
Yep.
They're not going to do the right thing. So we'll see.
I will say, if you're a Cowboys fan wondering about Rashan Gary, like he has the athleticism, don't get me wrong, but there's concerns. And it's just, he hasn't been able to live up to what the Packers were paying him these past couple of seasons. And I was really hopeful that with Parsons, he was going to be able to take that next step. But yeah, it just didn't happen. And when we needed him most, man, like he just disappeared for like 9 games last year. Like it was a tough look. So I don't think that is going to solve those problems. However, right, the fact that the Cowboys made a big splash in free agency last year, besides trading away Micah Parsons, not in free agency, excuse me, during the season, they have a nice defensive tackle, right? So maybe they're going to be able to get pressure up the middle. Now open up things for Rashan Gary. That's the hope here. Yeah. And like I said, maybe a change of scenery will be good with Christian Parker. But yeah, I would think that they want to do a little bit more for pass rush than just getting Rashan Gary.
Yeah, you would imagine. You would imagine.
Yeah, you would imagine. Yeah, so that was the thing that I missed last week. So you and I have been talking about this for weeks. So Kyler Murray is getting released, but also Tua is getting flat out released, which, if anything, I feel like, Brandon, would make you feel better, because if we backtrack a little bit to the days where cutting Russell Wilson and taking on all that dead cap and setting NFL records, the Dolphins said, hold on, here you go, hold my beer, $99 million in dead cap the Dolphins are going to take for releasing Tua, which, again, Chris Greer should have been fired years ago. I'm so sorry, Dolphins fans, but holy cow, did that contract, which is not very old, age very poorly. I don't even know if it had time to age. But also Kyler Murray, they're going to be taking on some dead cap too. They're linked to Malik Willis last time that I saw that. But yeah, two QBs with a whole lot of dead cap getting released for absolutely nothing. That's tough.
I like the trend that the Broncos started. It's like, hey, pay a quarterback a bunch of money and then instantly regret it, and then make the very difficult decision to just get rid of that guy because nobody on earth will trade for him, and eat all the dead cap hit. And that's $99 million in dead cap. That is the most, I believe. But it's an
NFL record. Yep.
It's going to be spread across 2 seasons. Still, I think they're going to take 67 million hit this year with the post-June 1st designation. So, I mean, the Cardinals are doing the same thing with Kyler, but his contract was a little more favorable. So both of those players who, like, they are decent quarterbacks, that they are very good quarterbacks for $1.3 million, which they're going to play for a different team. So they become very appealing as like,
sure.
And Russ did that for the Steelers. Russ and Justin Fields were both there. The Steelers paid Russ $1.3 million. Russ actually played decent ball in Pittsburgh. Nothing crazy. He wasn't horrible. And even $1.3 million after that season was too much for the Steelers. They let him go to the Giants. So this Tua and Kyler situation really just becomes fascinating about where they land and the type of opportunity they get with their next team. Mm-hmm. It feels like Kyler's already a Viking. I don't know how true the rumors are, but if you had to choose between Kyler and Tua, who are you going with, Tom? You're in a weird spot with your franchise. You have a weird hole at QB.
Sure.
Maybe you can draft a guy now. Maybe you're looking towards next season. Who are you taking and why?
I feel like I would have said a few years ago, like I go Kyler because you have the scrambling ability, but like Kyler really doesn't run that much anymore. So I feel like you're kind of just left with, all right, Tua, if you surround him with some good pieces, I feel like you can get some productivity. But the problem was with the Dolphins is heading into this year, just like we were for a number of seasons, we were like, okay, if Tua stays healthy, right? Like, I feel like every time we've talked about Miami for the past few years, that's been the clause. If Tua's healthy, they could do this, because we've seen, right, when Tua was healthy a few years back, it was like, holy crap, man, like that offense was exploding. They were putting 70 points on teams. And then he got hurt and you're like, okay, well, we kind of have this rationale that this is the problem. It's because he can't stay healthy. But last year, man, like it wasn't good. So I feel like maybe, oh man, I agree with you. Like he makes sense as a Viking, as a Colt, as a Jet, as a Raider. You know, again, especially if you don't draft an offensive lineman, you're just like, hey, just throw somebody back there. And for that price point, I think you can go with either of them. I feel like I'm leaning Tua, but it is very slight, because I watched Tua play a bunch last season and it was not good. Because again, I like Kyler's ability to run, he just doesn't do it a lot. So I don't know.
He still does. I think he just chooses. I think he doesn't lean into one of his strengths enough. I think Kyler is very similar to Russell Wilson in the way he plays. The elusiveness, the ability to extend the play. The difference is his deep ball is not as good as Russ's was. But I think like if you're looking at a guy who could possibly be your guy for a couple seasons, I think I would lean towards taking a shot with Kyler.
Sure.
I think his athleticism's always been better than Tua's. I think it's just overall arm strength is better than Tua's. And I think what we've watched with Tua is it's when things break down on the offense for the Dolphins, Tua's just shown he's not the answer.
Yeah.
And I think at least with Kyler, I think Kyler was playing decent football last year before he got hurt. The issue was he got hurt, and then Jacoby Brissett came in, and he also played pretty well. And you could argue, Jacoby probably played better because all the running backs started getting hurt, and he's just out there slinging it. But neither guy looks like the answer long-term anywhere. It looks like you're renting them for a very specific purpose. And I think it's about which team has that best fit. And I like Kyler in Minnesota. I like the weapons. I like Kevin O'Connell. I think that makes sense. You said the Raiders for Tua. I think, was it Kubiak or Spytek? I forget who says like they don't want to force a rookie to play right away.
That's what I'm especially behind that O-line, man. Like you just because it was Brissett with the Patriots a couple years ago. You just throw somebody back there who's a veteran. It's like, hey, it's most likely going to be Mendoza. You learn, have a nice day, and you don't get to get clobbered behind that offensive line.
And I think Tua could function in Clint Kubiak's offense. I think like he could run that offense. There would be a lot of similarities between that offense and between kind of like what Mike McDaniel does. But I think the Browns could be a weird team that comes in after Tua. You could have Tua, Watson, and Shadir all in the same QB room.
That'd be something. I mean, so no joke, would take either of them as a backup.
A backup bridge, right? Like if the Jets are going to draft a guy and you want to bring in Tua, go for it.
Yeah. You going to do a Colorado Avalanche video, Perna? I know you're following the Avalanche so closely.
I actually was watching the Avs game yesterday.
Oh, there you go.
They won in a shootout
Nice.
over the Minnesota. Over Minnesota. Maybe we'll see. Let me get through free agency. Jesus fuck, man. I got 3 big free agency videos to do this week, and you're asking me about hockey?
Hey,
ask me that question next week where I start to go, oh God, there's nothing to talk about.
What am I gonna do? Happy birthday. I hope 19. Let's go. Rock and roll. Happy belated. There's a few more things that I definitely want to talk about before we get to Crosby. One, McDuffy going to the Rams.
Yes.
And getting paid is this the highest paid corner in NFL history?
Yeah, first corner to get $100 million fully guaranteed.
Damn. I mean, first of all, holy cow. And there's always a few positions, right? So we've seen
missionary, doggy,
yep.
Reverse cowgirl,
yep.
Reverse cowboy,
yep.
Cowboy, cowgirl on horse,
yep.
The flying V. I think that's it. I think that's all of them.
Yeah, I think that might be it. There's a few football positions where they make a ton of money, right? You look quarterback, of course, left tackle, always going to make premier edge rusher, and corner. And then you look at, there's other positions like wide receiver that have blown up in the past few years. But this, I feel, is going to trigger an avalanche of, holy God, all these corners.
Can we stop talking about the avalanche, please?
I'm waiting for it. That are going to start making a ton of money because of this McDuffie deal. By the way, like it is a lot of money, but I love this signing for the Rams. Like they've needed to work out with their secondary. I think that McDuffie is going to do real well in LA. I really, really like this one. It's just a crap ton of money.
Yeah, I mean, I was happy that Trent McDuffie was leaving the AFC West. He's a very good corner. Has he done enough to say he should definitely be the highest paid corner in NFL history? Probably not.
I think you can debate that.
Probably not, but that's just the way the market works sometimes, right? You don't have to be the best player to make the most money ever. You're hitting at the right time. And you trust the Rams in their evaluation process because they rarely miss. $100 million guaranteed. If you're sure that's the guy that's going to help shore up your secondary, go for it. The Chiefs do this very weird thing though, where they don't overpay their corners.
No,
they did it with L'Jarius Sneed. They did it with Charvarius Ward. They had Marcus Peters. They let go. Like, this is a position group that the Chiefs have identified that they can basically just plug and play or develop or trust their system to get the most out of guys. And if McDuffie were going to a shitty team, I would be very worried about this.
Sure.
Like if this were the Raiders doing this or the Jets right now, I'd be like, oh, they are cooked. They overpaid.
Yeah.
But since it's the Rams, since they're a well-coached football team, he's going to play on a defense that does have a good front, a good defensive front. Like, then this is just the way, salary cap goes. This
is also a position of need for them too.
Yes.
Like they have needs, and I think McDuffie is going to fit right in LA. Like I do think that you saw them make it to the NFC Championship game, right? Like I think that this not only keeps them in the contenders conversation, right? But it's like, oh man, this is another spot we don't have to worry about right this second.
I really just hope this creates
not bad for the Jets.
Such a hole on the Chiefs defense that they regret it. I hope they suck. I hope they give up the most passing yards in the league. I hope we're finally saying they tried to get too cute. Didn't want to keep a good corner in town. because they're cheap. They're cheap bastards. I also hope Travis Kelce leaves in free agency. That would be hilarious.
But other than that,
Travis Kelce to the Cincinnati Bengals. You got Kelce, you got Chase, you got no defense, but you got Kelce and a bunch of ball grabbers.
Gonna renovate those houses. That's it. Hey, appreciate you, Otto. Yeah, that was I like this for LA. The West, I think, is going to continue to be a really fun division next year because you have to imagine the 49ers aren't just going to explode with injuries. But then again, we've said that about the 49ers before. So I feel like you're going to have at least 3 contenders, that are going to be vying for that division title. So it's going to be fun. But there's another rumor, speaking of the Chiefs, that Kenneth Walker. So Kenneth Walker, there's lots of rumors swirling that he is not going to be returning to the reigning defending Super Bowl champions, the Seattle Seahawks. And there were some rumors that he was going to be going to Kansas City, which I like that a lot.
Fuck you, dude. Shut up.
If he goes to, I like that because they were trying. They had no run game. Patrick Mahomes was like the leading rusher for the Chiefs a good chunk of those games. Yeah, I would love K9 over to KC if that works out for them. It'd make a more dynamic backfield, to say the least. It would.
It's supposedly Kenneth Walker. Hold on. Bam. Supposedly Denver Broncos, Kansas City Chiefs, and still Seattle as the potential landing spot.
Oh, that's going to hurt you, huh? Oh, man. If he signs with KC instead of Denver, ooh, that's going to...
No.
Denver
The Broncos are going to be in the market. I know that.
Okay.
They're going to look at Walker. They're going to sniff around Travis Etienne. You got J.K. Dobbins. I feel like he's gone. I feel like if they're going to bring him back, they would have already done it. Walker... okay, so I made a short about like Super Bowl MVPs that changed teams right after winning Super Bowl MVP.
Sure.
With Walker as the catalyst for going. And now that I put that up there, I feel like it's going to age poorly and Walker's going to return to the Seattle Seahawks. So what Seattle likes to do is they'll let guys see what their value is on the market, and then Seattle will say, okay, we can match that. So I still think there's a solid chance he does return to Seattle. They're going to let him test free agency. So it became clear that they weren't going to make him an offer now. I don't know if that means that he won't be back. I don't know if that means like if Denver or Kansas City is going to just go above what his value is. So we'll see. The thing with Kenneth Walker that you're concerned about is he has had injury issues all the way up until this last season. What you saw once Charbonnet went down, you saw Seattle's run game was when he was just the workhorse. He was great.
Yeah.
You saw the best version of Kenneth Walker in the playoffs and the Super Bowl. So you're betting on that's where he's going to trend if you sign him. And I think that can be true, assuming he can stay healthy. And Denver specifically, like if they're not bringing J.K. Dobbins back, the only reason they're not doing that is because they are concerned about his continued injuries, and it sucks because everybody loves Dobbins. Everybody wants him back in Denver. And you don't want to use that as a reason to not pay a guy, but his injuries have been significant. Walker's not as significant, but that's the concern there. So we'll see. But if he's, this tweet says, what's it here? Between 12 and 16 million. If Denver, Kansas City's hitting in that 12 to $13 million range, I think Seattle will make him a strong offer. If some team goes 16, 17 mil, like he's probably gone.
Yeah. Yeah. Evans, I mean, I still think he's gonna. I would like him. I would love him to just return to the Buccaneers.
He's gonna step around.
I think. I mean, because he's just gonna test free agency. But man, he'd be a team that could go to the Patriots. I go to the 49ers. I think either one of those would be contenders. But we do also have wide receiver news. There was a trade last week. Good old DJ Moore. Oh yeah, let's talk about the Bears.
More.
The Bears, their center, who Bears fans, I would feel bad if you didn't, do what you did to the Packers. But literally, they finally get stability along the offensive line. Oh my God, we found a center. We did it. Things are actually good. And then 27 years old, retires. So hopefully, I'm hoping things are all good there. But all of a sudden, the Bears had to scramble. They had to go and trade for a new offensive lineman. But more importantly, they traded away DJ Moore, who I don't think that there's a huge shock that's there. And DJ Moore is leaving Chicago after defeating the Packers, and the FTP and stuff. So he's leaving with his head held high, unfortunately. But yeah, I am very curious how you feel about this because it's for a second-round pick to the Bills, and I just felt like that was a little rich. That's a decent amount to give away. But I mean, DJ Moore, I think, is going to do well in Buffalo.
Yeah, I think knowing that Brandon Beane doesn't know how to identify a receiver via the NFL draft, is what you got to do. That's not even fair because I think Khalil Shakir was a great draft pick for the Bills. I think Dalton Kincaid was very good last year. He was good as a rookie.
Here. Travis Kelce is indicating that he is going to be returning to the Kansas City Chiefs.
Oh,
looks like Ian Rappaport. Chiefs future Hall of Famer.
Broken, and he's going to suck even worse.
Return to KC for his 14th season. That's been delivered to teams that who wanted him at 36. He will return.
Good. He doesn't do anything anymore.
He's definitely
slow,
taken.
He's old. Back. He's broken.
Didn't you just say you wanted him to leave in free agency?
Yeah, I thought it'd be funny if he went one. I didn't say because I thought he was going to be good for another team.
Got it. That'd be fun, Jason. Sorry, DJ Moore. Yeah, I'm just like it just is.
We really didn't need to stop my train of thought for Travis Kelce returning to play where he played his whole career because he's old and washed. News, okay?
You able to get back on that train?
Can we? You've been gone for a couple weeks and you forgot what's important here, Tom. And it's never Kansas City Chiefs news. Ever.
Got it.
Now that I said all that, this will be like, oh, Travis Kelce, 1,200-yard season. What a key signing for Kansas City.
Yeah.
He must have been taking those PEDs in the offseason because he looked like a 27-year-old man out there.
I think he's actually doing the home renovations. So he's just he's just like, I know how to construct a house. I also know how to deconstruct a defense.
Oh my God. If it's not Jason and Travis Kelce with the Property brothers and brothers doing Mama Kelsey's kitchen remodel, HGTV, you're slipping. You are slipping. Imagine if we get GPS on HGTV. Huh?
What are we going to do?
We're going to talk home renos.
You and I have talked specifically about we don't know how to do this.
We're going to learn to be men on HGTV together via this show.
If they give us a random house that we could just do whatever to, I mean, it'll be entertaining. It just will not look good.
You guys set up 6 televisions, 4 cameras, and 3 desks, 9 computers, and absolutely did no work to the walls, to the floors, to the plumbing.
That's not true. I took a hammer and put some holes in walls.
There you go. There you go.
That's it. So,
what are we talking about? Football?
DJ Moore?
DJ Moore. Yeah. Okay. There's this weird thing that happens where I think everybody considers DJ Moore a very good wide receiver.
Sure.
They considered him a good wide receiver all season in Chicago. And as soon as he leaves, they're like, he wasn't actually that good. He wasn't that good.
So with DJ,
he is getting crucified for that final play where Caleb threw that pick.
Yes, but
the last thing you do is reflective of your entire time.
Sure.
And he had 1,300 receiving yards with Justin Fields, Tom.
I'm aware.
2 years ago.
I'm aware.
Now, do I think he's the most elite receiver in the NFL? No. Do I even think I don't even know if you would consider him a true number 1, but I do like Buffalo adding a guy.
Hope he's good.
That I think addresses a need from in the receiving game. And if Keon Coleman does develop and play better, if Keon Coleman plays better next year,
if Keon Coleman shows up to meetings on time, yep,
I think he will with Joe Brady.
I
think maybe. But DJ Moore, Khalil Shakir, Dalton Kincaid, Dawson Knox, like that's 4 guys that are all very good at what they do. So
again, like I'm not crapping on DJ Moore at all. It just seems a little rich. Like a second round
probably pick. You're right there.
Like this for the Bears, like if you're the Bears because DJ was gonna go, right? Like that was the consensus. To get a second round pick for him, I mean, you got to be pretty damn happy about that if you're Chicago. I think that is you're wheeling and dealing. And also the Bills are in a position where they desperately needed a wide receiver. And I feel like DJ can be that guy. Yeah. It's just, there's only so many years that you're going to have with them. And again, it's a good amount of compensation, but you make a good point, right? That maybe they're not the best at evaluating wide receiver talent. And so they needed to shop from within.
Yeah. And what, you in the NFL too, with a lot of these moves, you're looking at 2 things. Either it's the money or it's the connection, the player coach connection. And I think more playing with Joe Brady, like them knowing each other, I think that makes the transition there great. And I think the last few years, DJ Moore has played with Caleb Williams and Justin Fields. 2 quarterbacks who try and extend plays, like to extend plays. Like the guys he's played with in terms of how he's going to fit into what Josh Allen does really well, like that makes sense to me. In addition to just being like a good overall receiver.
Yeah, him with Josh Allen's going to be fun. Like it is going to be enjoyable to watch.
Dude, the Bills' problem is that like they're having to chop a bunch of fat off their defense right now.
Yeah.
They're lucky they traded Taron Johnson to the Raiders because they were about to release him, but they got like a 6th round draft pick, traded him. So they're in a bad cap spot. They're having to do a ton of shit right now.
Yeah, it's going to be some. It's a good question. Yes, hold on one second. The Falcons are making a strong push to sign Tua.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
I was just like, I was guessing this morning when I was writing the Tua section, and I was like, teams that make sense. Atlanta.
I would say, because Michael Penix is recovering, right? So we'll see when he's going to be ready to go. And for like less than $2 million.
Yeah.
Why not?
It's the exact opposite of Kirk Cousins, costing him $40 million a year.
Correct. So, I mean, there's like
left-handed Kirk Cousins.
Quarterback. We got this. Game recognizes game. Frederick, I think that LVN, because he already was better last year. Micah Parsons has sung his praises. So I think that that's why they're also comfortable not only letting Gary go, but I'm happy just because they got something for Rashan Gary. I know it's a 2027 4th round pick, but I'm very content with that because he was just going to get cut. So I think LVN there's going to be a ton of expectations that he is going to take a few steps this season. I think so. So, hey, congrats on monetization.
Nice.
Let's go.
Just got your life monetized. Everything you do will make you money now.
Everything. Yeah, lefty QBs unite over in Atlanta.
I'll never touch a left-handed QB. They're gross.
I do want to talk about Maxx Crosby. I know it took 33 minutes to get there, but this was right? This is probably going to be the biggest free agency.
Oh, yeah. The NFL wad was blown on Crosby.
I'm curious for a number of reasons of what you think. One, you don't have to. Sean Payton was real excited to get Maxx Crosby out of there. He's like, I'll pay for your flight. He's like, you know what? You want to order some movies? I got you, whatever you want. One, so I'm sure you're happy he's out of the AFC West. But 2, I'm very curious of your thoughts of him going not only to Baltimore with Jesse Minter now, but also the fact that the Raiders were able to get 2 first-round picks, including the 14th overall pick this year. I feel like that sets the Raiders up, big if coming here. If they are able to draft well, I feel like a team that is in a full rebuild, because that is what they are in, this sets them up nicely for the future.
Yeah, if. And we'll see. I don't trust the Raiders yet to actually draft correctly.
If.
Now, and it's so hard to say. It's a different guy. It's you got Spytek, you got a new head coach. I do think Clint Kubiak's going to be great. It is a big let's see.
Yeah.
But I thought it was the right time for the Raiders to move on from Maxx Crosby. I don't think they're going to be good this season. If Mendoza is awesome right away, and that's always a possibility, then, you know, I'll sound stupid for saying that. But yeah, the Raiders did a good job maximizing their value in terms of what they could get for Crosby. He didn't want to be there anymore. And that was a guy who really wanted to be with the Raiders. A lot of that, we talked about it, you know, with Tom Brady's body specialist and snake oil salesman, Alex Guerrero, that Crosby was not a fan of him. I think it's a great fit for Baltimore. Matabuki was injured last year, right? So they had 2 games out of him. And that's a big reason their production at edge dipped. He should be healthy this year, and you get Crosby. I think the Ravens pass rush in general, not just because of Crosby, but getting healthy there is going to be a lot better. Love the fit with Minter. I think if anybody's going to maximize that defense, and you got a weapon like Crosby who plays the run incredibly well, he does so many things well. That's what's fascinating about it. But I did want to talk about this real quick because Jay Glazer tweeted, Sean Payton called me so fired up. The Raiders traded Maxx Crosby and even just texted Max saying he's offering to pay a private plane, one-way flight to Baltimore. Happy to see him out of the division. Funny. So I tweeted, Sean Payton's got to be the weirdest head coach in the league. And I started getting a little bit of shit from guys saying I'm just like a Sean Payton hater. Oh, you just hate him. Why would you say he's weird? I'm saying Sean Payton's weird because Sean Payton called a national reporter so that this national reporter would then go and say that Sean Payton called me to talk about how happy he was that Maxx Crosby is leaving. Now, had Jay Glazer said, I reached out to Sean Payton for comment, and this is what he said, that's totally fine. But it is a weird move for your head coach to call a national reporter just so he can get his
Here's what I
out.
texted Maxx Crosby.
Yeah, it's like Sean telling him that that he texted Maxx Crosby. Like, if that news came out organically, then you're like, oh, that's great. Sean had a lot of respect for him. Sure. It's cool to hype him up. Nothing but love there. But to do that, you're doing it so you get your name out there about and maybe Sean's playing a little 4D chess just in case Maxx Crosby ever becomes available. Max remembers that Sean really liked him, and in the twilight of his career, he's going to come have a last. But I don't believe that.
Yeah, that's a lot of copium there.
Dude.
4th round pick.
That was my thought. I wasn't trying to fucking knock Sean Payton. I wasn't trying to diss Maxx Crosby for saying oh, how dare he compliment a division rival. But that's
this is weird.
Move. Yeah, thank you.
This is a strange thing to go, I'm going to call up a reporter and go, hey, you know what I just texted Maxx Crosby? I got your one-way ticket right here. But also, I respect him.
Yeah.
It feels like a very boomer thing to do. Right?
Sure.
Just I just texted my grandson, and this is what hold on, let me read you the text here. Hold on, make it a little larger. I feel like that
again, if Jay was like, hey, I reached out to Sean Payton, then that's fine.
Yeah.
But Jay, he specifically said Sean called me. So I thought it was bizarre. And it's it doesn't mean I think Sean Payton's suddenly a bad coach either. That's not what I was trying to say.
That's what I heard. I think it was a character assassination on your behalf. Yeah.
I had to mute some fuck who just wouldn't shut up. I tried to be nice to him too. It just continued to be an asshole. Get out of here. Get out of here.
That's it. So, speaking of Maxx Crosby, no longer in the AFC West, I do like this for the Raiders. I thought that they would hold on to him just because their defense now has a massive hole there. But the fact that they were able to get 2 first-round picks And now I think they'll be able to either, if they want to move up, they can do that, but hopefully get an offensive lineman, with who's likely going to be Mendoza with the first overall pick, because that offense, like if they are able to make that offensive line even just like slightly above average, everything is going to look better. I think Ashton Genty is going to look a lot better. I think whoever is going to be their quarterback is going to be able to actually have some time. And they do need some more weapons. Don't get me wrong. They have Brock Bowers, but I feel like if they're able to hit on these draft picks, I really like this for the Raiders. But the real interesting aspect of this trade is the fact that he is going to the Baltimore Ravens, because similar to what the Packers did, right? And they gave up 2 first-round picks to go and get Micah Parsons. This just is like oh man, we are in a win now mode. And right after firing your long-term coach and bringing in Jesse Minter, who I really like Minter, and I think that's one of my favorite pairings for newly signed head coaches this offseason. This just feels like, oh man, it's now or never for Baltimore. Like that defense should be really damn good. I think Crosby's going to fit in so damn well with Baltimore. Like I think that defense could be a lot of fun to watch. It's just, okay, here's the window. Now Baltimore, you got to go and win.
Yeah. And this probably means Tyler Linderbaum's gone. They've got a couple hours to maybe get a deal, but I think, the capital and what you're going to have to pay Crosby, that probably where they're going to make a change. I think the bigger takeaway I had is that this is a philosophical shift for the Ravens and how they're approaching team building. And I think a lot of that has to do with John Harbaugh's departure, right? And we learned, like, the first thing we learned about Harbaugh when he went to the Giants is he wanted more control in that organization. Like Joe Shane basically had to take a back seat to Harbaugh. So that makes me think like a lot of the way Ravens did business was really pushed by Harbaugh and how he wanted to do things. And that's why you hadn't seen the Ravens give up a first round draft pick for a free agent. I think it was the highest they went was a second rounder for Roquan Smith previous to this. So, they're pushing. It's the right time for the Ravens to do it. With Lamar Jackson, they got Derrick Henry coming back. It's Lamar's in his prime. He's another guy. He's got to stay healthy for a full season. But if this doesn't work for the Ravens, it's like, will it ever work for Baltimore? Like, that'll be your question. And I think their defense can be good enough. And I think anybody can coach a pretty respectable offense with Lamar and Derrick Henry. Sure. They just need that defense to be top 6 again. And they've got a chance to actually win in the playoffs and go to the Super Bowl.
But also in that division, it has never been more open, right? I mean, Cleveland, Pittsburgh, right? They're going through some changes as well. And then the Bengals, I love how after Maxx Crosby goes to Baltimore, everyone's just like, Joe Burrow, I am so sorry. It's TJ Watt. It's Myles Garrett. Now it's Maxx Crosby. That's tough. That's a tough time. But Baltimore, I think, has to jump to being favored to win that division. And I feel like they were already trending in that direction anyway. I mean, but what a hell of an offseason for Baltimore, man. To go and get Minter, you fire Harbaugh, and now you're bringing Maxx Crosby. Yes, it is very out of character for the Ravens and what they used to do. But even their owner, when he sits down and has this huge press conference, he's like, I want to win a Super Bowl, man. Like, and then we're talking about what's going to happen with the team. But this seems like a win now move. We're going to give up a ton of draft capital, including the 14th overall pick. Like, that's a big one. And just try and go get this now. And the Ravens, similar to the Packers, we will not care, right? If they wind up going and winning a Super Bowl, they don't care what this turns into. But
that's similar to the Seahawks, Tom.
Big move.
That's similar to the Seahawks. We did not care.
There you go, Rachel. There you go.
Yeah, it'd have been like, we'll see this. I think like once we see what happens in the draft and we see who is available at 14 for the Ravens, you'll get another way to evaluate this. Because if one of like the higher end edge rushers is available at 14, you're going, oh, You could have kept your first rounder next year. It would have been cheaper. Crosby's contract, though, is already like decent. There's like 4 or 5 guys making more per year than him.
Very well.
And Mike is number 1, right, for Green Bay. So, like, contract-wise, it's not a bad spot. And again, like, I think what Ravens fans are going to be excited about is all the things that Max does well, not just getting to the QB. But yeah, it's a big move for Baltimore. And I think you're right. I'm not sure there's unless AJ Brown gets traded, I'm just not sure there's a bigger trade that can happen with once free agency like officially opens up.
Are you shocked it was the Ravens too? Because like I feel like there was very little news that because they were talking the Eagles, even like there was a little like, oh, maybe that'd be insane. But the Cowboys, they put an offer in as well. But just getting those 2 first-round picks, I think this works out really well for Vegas. And
I wasn't blindsided just because I'd seen some chatter about the Ravens being in the mix. Mm-hmm. But when I saw that stuff, I was like, there's no way the Ravens are doing that. They never do that.
Yeah. So
I thought it was like the Ravens, you hear so much shit leading up to free agency. Like, ooh, this team's making calls. This team's they're targeting this guy, and then it never comes to fruition. I really thought it was going to be the Bears.
I'm so glad it wasn't the Bears.
Johnny and Connor have been giving each other shit in our text
I'm
thread.
so glad it wasn't the Bears. I know some Bears fans thought there, but I am so happy that he did not, because that would have been a tough one. So yeah, I'm very, very, very
with the tampering window opens up at, is it 2 Eastern, noon my time?
It's somewhere around there, I think. Yeah, because it's like 4 p.m. usually Eastern.
So if you don't know, tampering means there's a 48-hour window. So free agency officially opens up on Wednesday. Right now, there's a 48-hour window where teams can talk to players. They can get deals in place. This has always happened, but then the NFL's like, all right, we can't stop teams from doing this shit. We know everybody's tampering. We're going to make it a legal tampering window. So today is the real start of free agency in my eyes. I'm thinking your eyes as well, Tom.
Noon Eastern. 4 p.m. is usually the start time for the free agency to actually.
Oh, so it's noon Eastern. So it starts at 10.
Yeah, so literally it's in 11 minutes.
Yes. So we got, according to ESPN, your top available free agents who will be tampered with. And the best part about this is tampering starts in 11 minutes. But there will be a deal or 2 or 3 that happen immediately. Which means there was still tampering before the tampering.
Yes.
Pre-tampering.
Pre-tampering. Yes.
Yeah. It's it's your heavy day.
Yes. Quay Walker is likely going to be gone from the Packers. They made the trade for Franklin. Hopefully he can do well with them. But I think Quay Walker is just going to price himself out. So that's what I imagine we're going to see. The person I want to talk about real quick, if you scroll up to the very, very top there, Trey Hendrickson, sure. The person who is going to make a crap ton of money is Linderbaum. Wherever he winds up going, whether he stays, he is going to make, because not only is there a desperate need for a center, but he's really damn good. So I feel like whoever winds up, he is going to set some records, I think, during this offseason.
Yeah. So it sounded like Trey would possibly be going to Dallas. Might be too rich for their blood. If it's not Dallas, who's going after Trey?
The Buccaneers would be fun. I mean, they
Tampa, Tampa need a pass
rusher.
Trey, you're just worried about his age at 31, and he was injured last year.
Yep.
So the Eagles are supposedly trying to make a push for Jalen Phillips. He's only 27. He'll probably be cheaper than Trey. He was healthy last year. He's had really bad injury luck. Alec Pierce probably going to reset the receiver market. You guys are letting Walker go?
Looks like it. Yeah, they're re-signing, they're shuffling. I'm curious what they do with Elton Jenkins.
Yeah. Oh wait. See, I thought Linderbaum I really thought the Chargers were gonna go after him, but they signed Washington center Tyler Biadish. Braden Smith will be your Best available lineman next to Walker. Whoever signs John Franklin Myers is getting an incredible player. Denver had him for 2 years, really cheap deal. He's really good. There's your
honestly, Packers might be in the market for him because there's rumors that the Packers are making some calls because they do need defensive
for JFM
tackle. That I'm saying I would love for JFM to go there. I would love for him to be in Green Bay.
He's really underrated.
Please. Yeah, Quay Walker, he's gonna get a good
dish. They told me how to pronounce his last name. And if you guys thought that I was gonna stick in my brain, you don't know me at all. Hold on. Trey Edmonds gonna be a free agent. That's interesting.
Yep. I got another email today. They're still looking into it. It will it's almost been it might be 2 months by the time we get it, but
they're just like, we're gonna see if you fall back under.
Yeah, it's honestly it. That's all. Well,
ooh, Devin Lloyd. He's coming off a great season. You got Kyler. Look, I like Malik Willis. He's your top-rated quarterback.
There's rumors that he's going to go to Arizona.
I actually think that makes the most sense.
I think it makes sense. I think we were talking about Miami too. Makes sense.
Yeah, I think it makes more sense because of the LaFleur connection.
Yes.
Like, and I really, dude, I like Marvin Harrison and oh God, Michael Wilson. Is it Michael Wilson?
Wilson, the wide receiver you're talking about.
Yeah. Yes. And Trey McBride. Like, those are nice targets to throw to.
Sure.
And they're bringing back James Conner too, right? Isn't he coming back?
I believe so.
Biotic. Biotic.
I mean, the Cardinals are in a weird spot, man. I mean, their entire division made the playoffs and won a playoff game. They're going to be the odd team out still, but they got to just rebuild, man. They're like a lot of teams. They're just going to be rebuilding. That's tough. But yeah, I mean, the Ravens could do a lot of things to move. If they are somehow able to restructure massively and still keep Linderbaum, I'll feel really good about Baltimore. I'm not going to feel great if they lose him. Like, I'd worry about that offensive line a bit. And whoever, again, he is going to be able to command whatever the hell he wants in this market. There are some teams that are desperate for a very good center.
I also think it sounds like the Raiders are going to go after Rashid Shaheed. Kubiak wants to bring him in.
I like that. Shout out Perna's free agency video. There you go. Shout out.
Yeah, we're a little bit different. We took a different approach. Thank you guys. A lot of people liked it. I appreciate that. Need it right now because I feel like YouTube sucks right now.
It does. The 49ers apparently are open to trading Trent Williams.
Oh, wow.
Dude, if he... I worry about that offensive line massively if Trent
They trade Trent Williams and then they sign Taylor Decker.
Yeah, Decker also asking to be released from the Lions. That was...
You got Diggs is released as well.
Yep. Yes, Stephon Diggs was released by the Patriots.
Nahshon Wright's interesting. He was a turnover machine last year for Chicago.
Appreciate you, BXM. Thank you.
Joey Bosa. I like Wan'Dale Robinson. I think he's interesting.
Yep.
Leo. Rico. Kobe Bryant.
Probably going to be signing potentially over in the West. Romeo
there's a lot that's going to happen.
He's going to be in there in Arizona or San Francisco, I think. I'll miss you, Romeo.
Romeo. Oh, you guys got a lot of guys leaving. Green Bay.
We got a good amount.
I didn't really realize it. Not that it's not that the Packers in this terrible position with all those guys leaving. You've got a lot of receivers. You got Matthew Golden, so you're hoping he's going to replace Romeo's production. Is there one guy that you're a little damn, I really wish?
I like Romeo a lot. The one I'd be concerned about is Jaden Reed. Obviously, he was injured for a good chunk of the season, but there's apparently folks who are making calls about him and Wicks. So,
gotcha.
Yep. Crosby, man, listen, I think he's going to make I think he's going to do great. I think he's going to do really, really well in Baltimore. I think he's going to fit in perfectly. And I'm very, very excited for what Minter is going to be able to do with him. I think it's be good. He played what is it? 2023. So played the full season.
Yeah. Crosby played with his injury for almost all of last year. A big chunk of it.
Rashan, but yes, it was earlier.
Yeah, but I mean, injury is a bit of a concern. But Crosby's he's not a guy who doesn't play because of injury. In fact, I think he's played 700 more snaps than TJ Watt since 2019. So
that's pretty crazy. That's pretty big. That's pretty big. Saints, yeah. I mean, but this is, Sam, it's not just a Cam Jordan thing. I mean, you look at the Kyler Murray. When Kyler Murray got re-signed to that contract, everyone and their mother was like, oh yeah, this could age very poorly, but they had no choice. They needed a quarterback, and that's just what the market was dictating. And then Tua winds up getting re-signed, right? Like this stuff, and you see the consequences when it doesn't work out today, where now you're just going to be eating all that dead cap, and someone's going to be able to utilize him for less than $2 million. So yeah, that's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. So wishing you nothing but the best. Perna, you gonna be doing lots of crazy things today? Whoa, real quick. So sorry, David Montgomery gone. David Montgomery to the Texans. First of all,
you missed that.
Love that move for the Texans. Love that move for the Packers too, because now we don't have to worry about David Montgomery anymore. We still have to worry about Gibbs, of course, but yeah, it's
I hope Montgomery looks good there. I hope he thrives in Houston.
Me too. Because dude, Joe Mixon, it's just, if that was it was a whole thing. It was like, okay, maybe we could see it, and then just nope.
No, that whatever that happened to his foot, they kept it shrouded in mystery.
Yeah. Hey, listen, they only got so many opportunities. Sorry. What do you got coming out?
We'll have a video on what happens today. Focusing on the big moves that happened today. That'll be up tomorrow or the next day, Broncos, and then the real winners and losers of free agency once we kind of get a picture.
It's gonna be a crazy few days. There'll be lots of madness and chaos out.
It always is. It always slaps me right in the mouth.
Good to hear that, Gold. Wishing nothing but the best. I have a Rashan Gary skit that I'm working on. I just put out a Tua reaction before GPS went live. I'll probably potentially stream again later today if things get really, really crazy. And then any of the big news we'll put out videos for.
Jordan Love traded to the Vikings.
Where does Aaron Rodgers go? I don't know if that's a large question anymore.
I did a whole video on that guy.
Yeah, probably. I would imagine Pittsburgh still. I mean, McCarthy, it makes sense. But
well, my take is it sounds like the Steelers aren't super interested in Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, I think if the Steelers wanted him, they would have made him an offer already. But if the Steelers go after Kyler Murray, that could be interesting. I think Mike McCarthy is a good head coach for Kyler Murray too. But we'll see.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, it is noon Eastern, which means
it started.
It is officially tampering time. We'll have things.
You've been tampered with.
You have been tampered with. But folks, it's great to see you. We'll see you real soon. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Tom Grossi. That's Brandon Perna. This is GPS, and you have been navigated.
And you reached your destination. Good to have you back, Tom. Good to have you back.
Great to be back.